Hi, this is Team Toad YGO I'm with.
Brian from Team Toad YGO.
So, what did you do this week?
I played Paleo this weekend.
What were your matchups?
I played against ABC, Grand Maju, Phantom Knight, Cyber Dragon, and Evil Twins in the finals.
And how did you place on this tournament?
I went 5-0 with Paleo. I did surprisingly better than I thought I was going to do.
Ah, very good. Now let's get right to the profile.
So, I'm playing 42. I play the Frog Engine. The 8, there's nothing to say anything else here. And then I play 2 Backjack because I'm playing the Rise to Full High version. Backjack is a little bit more important than people tend to give it credit for because he's an extra disruption when you banish him from the graveyard. And if you unbanish him with a trap, you get an extra resource on your opponent's turn. So this is always an extra trap or a toad in the grave if you happen to mill another one. So it's good, but it's not 2 to 3 copies good. Then onto the traps, obviously the Paleo. 3 of the Book of Moon, 3 of the Karma Cut, and 3 of the MST. And then in this version we play 3 of the Foolish Barrel Goods and 3 of the Unbanished Paleo. 3 Book of Moon, good against normal summon decks like Phantom Knights. Against Phantom Knights I Book of Moon their Torn Scales and they couldn't do anything after that. 2 Karma Cut, only 2 because you can Trap Trick out 2. And this is probably the worst Paleo in the Paleo deck because you usually don't have a discard, and if you do have a discard, it's the Swap Frog that you searched off of your Dupe Frog. That's it for the Paleos. And then for the generic traps, I play 3 Trap Trick, 3 Needlebug Nest, 3 Rise, and 2 Lost Wind, and 3 Transmigration Prophecy. So, Needlebug Nest sending Rise to Full Height and Lost Wind is the best thing that I do in this deck. The resetting Lost Wind, or if I draw it, I can activate it, and then reset it after they summon something from the extra deck, so that's good. And then, I only explained this card twice, since people are starting to catch up to Rise to Full Height, so you banish it. Your opponent can only attack 1 target on the field. After that target leaves the field, there's no more attack targets, so that's it. So you summon Backjack, preferably mill this, target the Linkuriboh that you make, and they can attack anything else. And then on your opponent, on your turn, you just go off from there. And then Rise to Full Height, I was maining this for the Drytron matchup, but it wound up being a little bit better for every single deck that I played. ABC, I denied a Dragon Buster. For Grand Maju, I shuffled back the monster that banishes 8 to special summon itself. For Phantom Knights, I shuffled back the Torn Scales. For Cyber Dragons, I think one of their fusion cards or their repair plan I shuffled back so it couldn't resolve. And then Evil Twins, I shuffled back the twins that he needed to special summon. So this outperformed. I really love this trap. And then the last cards are 3 Strike and the Imperial Order. Strike because you can go Zeus, they try to negate it, and you strike them. And then Imperial Order is self-explanatory. And off to the extra. 3 Toad, self-explanatory. 2 Opabinia. If you're playing Rise to Full Height, you play 2 because he is not only a resource, he's a body on the field because you're probably going to search the Unbanished Paleo to get Rise to Full Height either back to the graveyard, or you're going to get Backjack. So that's a body and an interruption of some sort. And it's unaffected by monster effects. I've gotten Ash on this twice during the tournament. And then one of my favorite boss monsters that's not easy to make, but it's one of my favorites, Papa Monster. And if a card is sent from your spell and trap zone to the graveyard, you get to mill 1. If it's a trap, you can set it. So yeah, these are my favorite. I love Xyz. And then package, and then an extra Zeus. In this tournament, I did go into the extra Zeus, and I think that the Xyz in this deck are quite set in stone. This is the right amount of Xyz that you need to play. No other Xyz is necessary, and you don't play the 3rd Zeus. You can play with 1, but I preferably like 2. And for the links, this is all I played. I didn't really go into links besides the link revo. The link revo was absolutely necessary. And I only made access code twice and then Boral Sword once going through my link climbing with these. But that was it. I didn't really use links because I just relied on my XZs, using Opavinia, getting my resources, and then going on off the grave with Needlebug Nest. And then for the side, 3 Inspector Border because you can play through it. Other people can't play through this because your effects are trapped, not monster effects in the graveyard. I played 3 Lava Golem and 2 Gamma Seal. Lava Golem because usually people end on 2 types of disruptions or interruptions on the field, and you can distribute over them like in the Tri-Brigade matchup. Either they end on Appaloosa and Double Dragon Lords, and then they're trapped, or they end on Appaloosa something. And then Gamma Seal because if you send this off Needlebug Nest and Toad goes to the graveyard by an effect or something, you can grab this back because this is a water. Toad grabs back a water monster. And that's all the monsters in the side. And then the traps. For the control matchup for spells, and then Omni negate any of the board wipes that you might get for the back row. And that's it.
So, do you think you would change anything with this deck, or did you like how it performed?
I think I might add Ice Dragon's Prison somewhere because I just got my playset. But other than that, I really like this. I think Transmigration Prophecy is definitely an underrated trap. There's nothing that I would change for the tournament. If I could go back, I would just play the same thing. Even if I had Ice Dragon's Prison. Transmigration Prophecy outperformed, and the extra deck stays as is. But that's it. That's updated. It really didn't change from the last one, but this is what I played, and just to show that it can perform in a high stakes event like a case tournament, there's a proof.
So, any last shout outs that you want to give?
Shout out to Aldo and Benji, the people that I play test with, and then shout out to everybody at the shop. Shout out to Renee, and thank you guys. Thank you guys for staying tuned.